Good morning, traders. It is Monday, the 11th of December. This is your first Bitcoin update of the week. And what a move it has been to start the week here. So apologies for the slight discrepancy on the WooX chart. It happened to go through maintenance yesterday, the exchange, just as this dip was happening. So a few gaps here on the Woo chart if you are a Woo trader like myself. But luckily wasn't trading at this time, although annoyingly I did have a couple of short positions that got closed just before this move happened, so missed out on some profits there, but nothing too major to be concerned about here. Just a couple of little gaps and some weird wicks that we'll see on the chart as I'm skipping through things. But yes, the move that we've seen overnight here, very, very technical and very, very nice. It's one of those Monday morning counter trend because we're still looking at this being a move higher right now. Alts have recovered quite well from this, but one of those Monday morning flushes that we so often like to see during these bull market conditions. So a really decent pullback that we've had here. The confluence that we've got on the chart is, first of all, this is the daily level that was untested from our impulse and short squeeze up above 42k. So we had that 42k move. We then had a ton of shorts coming in because thinking, oh, 40k must be the top, the same as they thought the 38k must be the top. And then you get that short squeeze. So this has just recovered or repaired the whole imbalance that we had coming back into the daily level here and getting so far a pretty decent bounce off of that. What we also have as even more confluence, and this is the one that I really like the look of right now, is if you remember last week, I was talking about this here. So we had two levels of support. The first being that 43k area, which is what we tested here, this line where we were looking for that initial support, and then we had this big zone that we wanted to see hit around about that 41,800 to 41,300 area. So we obviously wicked through that and are seeing some closes above. So the wicks are very different on different charts. Okay, we see on Woo that it didn't go as deep as it did on Binance, for example, and on Spot as well. Didn't quite go. Well, actually, it did go quite deep. So yeah, quite a big move down. One of those flash crash situations that's very quickly recovered, but a ton of confluence here, which is actually really nice. So we'd spoken about these parabolic trend lines and how these two latest ones that we put in from this last squeeze up were just way too steep. Okay, each of these would have taken you to new all-time highs and up towards about 100k before we finished the year. They were highly unlikely to hold, and what we were looking for is this to start to form a range, basically holding above this previous range that we were in and just maintaining this more gradual healthy uptrend that we've been in for the last couple of months, really. So yeah, a really, really decent drop. You can see the wick coming down straight into that last trend line that we had, so these being the important ones. And actually the timing of this also being really nice. So you can see we had that real big squeeze higher. As soon as you trade through that trend line and you lose the momentum, and it's got that first drop, you make another high. And once again, you see as soon as you've lost that momentum, you've got this POC here that initiates a drop down to the next target level. We also had some moving averages coming in around there. So if I just go on to the 4-hour and show you the 4-hour time frame here and put on the 100 because I've got the 200 on, then you can see the nice drop into that 100 EMA and consolidating around about this 50 here at the moment. So yeah, a pretty decent dip to start the week. I think maybe even if we just go 21 day, maybe on the daily, would that have come close? It did. So yeah, dropped into that 21. These are important signs of a healthy trend. So if we're holding that 21 EMA, then that means we are still mega bullish. Even if this is like the 100 down here, even if we're holding the 50, we're still mega bullish. So very similar to what we had with this rejection here, tapping into that 21-day moving average, and I would expect this to start to form a range. It is actually like the similarities are very, very clear with the previous 38k range that we did put in. If I just go back over here, you can see this is what we've traded many, many times before. Okay, you have the highest daily close, you then come up, you take those, and you fail to get back above, you fail to get back above, you fail to get back above, and you keep on testing that until finally you drop and you lose this uptrend that you're in. And also, obviously, this being the POC. So if we're looking at the point of control here, and if we're looking at this bigger point of control over here, we were just holding around that point of control, and it needed to drop down back into another area of balance here in order to find support. So very much for myself, considering this to be a relatively bullish dip, I wouldn't mind seeing price hold or just drop down a little bit lower. It does look like we've had a pretty decent bounce so far. If this can come back in towards about that 42,800 to 43k and then start to consolidate here around that 41.6, that would be nice. You've got your value area low down there, this being your monthly value area low. And then consolidation below this monthly VWAP would be reasonable before we can then look for another move higher out of this. I do think that this now becomes the new range to trade between that 41 to 45 essentially. And if we can continue trading between 41 and 45, even down towards about 40k, then that does give us those targets up to basically the yearly level and the previous year high. The yearly level being here at 45,500. Wait a second. What's going on here? What's this one? Yeah, that is correct. And then we've got another level up there at 46 to 10. So yeah, no, the yearly level is 46 to 10. This is the monthly level because this was in April. This is a quarterly monthly level. I need to mark these correctly on my chart. It's because WooX doesn't go back as far, so we don't have the yearly level, but we've got the previous year high, we've got the previous year open, and we've got a monthly level here at 45. So 45,500, 46,200, 48,200 being the major levels above, if we can continue to hold within this range. Hopefully that made sense. It got a little bit messy at the end there. Ethereum, also a really decent drop. Okay, so just coming back in to test what was previous resistance. So you have a big stairs up, elevator down, and just continuing to hold here. So it's a little bit clearer if I just go on to a more simple chart. Okay, so point of VWAP from the lows that we had in our previous range, 50% retrace, and backtesting what was resistance as previous support. Backtesting what was resistance now as support. So previous resistance as support. That staircase up, elevator down, but as long as we're holding around here, then that remains pretty decent to the upside. There's been some really nice moves on alts as well, so I'm just going to quickly go across those. Just a bunch of altcoins that have swept some lows. So I've gone long on Pepe, okay, where you've got very, very similar confluence, okay, anchored VWAP coming in. You've taken out local lows and you've come in to fill imbalances. So Pepe is one that I've just taken a long on. Meme is another that I've just taken a long on. Again, imbalance has been filled here. Apologies for the gaps on WooX because this is when they went through the maintenance this morning. And yeah, a couple of others. I had a short on Gala, which was one of the ones that annoyingly got closed out. I also had a short on Sui, which got closed out. But yeah, decent start to the day. Just looking at DOT looks kind of interesting as well, but I'm not going to cover that right now. Now, if we go on to our liquidation heat maps, no, let's go on to the funding. Let's have a look at the funding quickly. So funding was slightly high over the weekend, not like crazy high. Okay, we can see that we've just been holding around here. We weren't as high up as it was previously last week. We actually had a little bit of negative funding coming in this morning as well. But yeah, funding was a little bit high and that's just cooled off. We're back into very much neutral across the board here. Some negative funding starting to creep in. OKX leading the way there. So if anyone trades on OKX, that could be a nice reason to be holding some long positions on this dip that we've had today. But overall, yeah, pretty neutral on the funding. Open interest, Bitcoin open interest had a very decent little drop this morning, which is obvious, okay? And the reason why it had a big drop this morning is because a ton of long positions, way over leveraged, okay? This is what we keep seeing. Now, it's still an uptrend, and look, the shorts are now the ones that are in the most danger here. We can actually zoom out to a week. Every time I do this, when it's recording, it takes a while. There we go. We can see here that pretty much like all of that big concentration of potential long liquidations have all been taken out very early on. A lot of these guys got taken. This is just over leveraged, stupid people getting into positions that are just, why would you get into a high leverage long position when you're here? You wait for the drop. Okay, you remain patient, like we waited for this drop last week, which then went to take the highs. You then have to remain patient again, wait for a drop, give you an opportunity to go long. And now, once again, this can potentially clear the way for higher prices again on here. So, yeah, I think that's everything that I have to say today. We'll be doing some live streams this week. We've got a couple of guests on the live streams. So, tomorrow evening, we will have a live stream with a good friend of ours, ND Capital. So yeah, he'll be coming on to the show just to have a bit of a chat. So I'll be doing a live stream, and then we'll bring in some guests. And there's also going to be a few more special guests in following streams over the next few weeks. So keep your eyes out for those. Advent calendar still continuing, so make sure you are paying attention to that. That means every day we're going to be doing giveaways, we're going to be giving out offers, or we're going to be releasing content on a daily basis all the way up until Christmas Day. And yeah, on that note, please do hit the like button, hit subscribe if you have not done so already, and check out tauruscrypto.com. Follow us at Taurus Crypto anywhere you like, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers, bye-bye.